G'day legends, James Greenshields from Resilient Leaders Foundation. Just wanted to get on and have a quick chat about what a big massive message I'm getting from our youth at the moment. It's one of the things that really prompted this message was because yesterday I got asked by my daughter to help her through processing some emotions, some deep-seated anger. And the anger had manifested to a stage where there was a lot of symptomology, both physical and emotional, coming up. So the first thing she actually had to do was go through the fear of going into the anger to release the anger. Now, a lot of the fear also, including shame coming up, was her judgment of herself reflecting her, g'day Andre, you're a legend, reflecting her level of self-judgment and fear of what my reaction would be to a lot of the stuff that she did. Now, so what did I do? The first instruction was to go and write down everything that she was angry about, including the people and stuff. The dog was there because the dog has a tendency to eat socks and the crutches out of underwear and stuff like this. But there was quite a few friends were there. Lots of different people were there. So she wrote them all down. And then we stopped, and then I got her to read it out. And she had to feel the emotion when she was reading it out. Now, that's the huge part of the process that a lot of cognitive work does not actually get. It stops here. It just lets them feel it. That emotion needed to be expressed because it had bottled up, welled up so much, and she really locked down on it. So yeah, she felt the anger, but the thing is she couldn't take the next step for a period of time. So I had to hold space for her to allow her to do that. And I used the protective nature of the masculine energy to hold space, but at the same time hold her accountable. Why I hold her accountable? She'd asked me to help her. Therefore, by virtue of that, I need to hold her accountable to see through the process if she chooses, not pushing her through it, but at the same time demonstrating there's a door you've just asked to go through, gorgeous. You said you wanted to go through it. Right now you're standing, not going through it. So what do you want to do? And during that massive release for a young lady, like, it was humbling to be part of how amazingly she went into it and expressed it. But the point at the end comes after the expression. There was a showering of love, huge amount of love that has to surround any release of anger, because there is so much falsity and so much ridicule put on anger now in society. There's so much anger out there that it's being pushed underground. It comes out as passive aggressiveness. There is a direct correlation between not only heart disease but cancer and suppressed anger because of what it does, the toxicity it does in the system. So, helping her express that emotion and then bathe her in that love was really, really pivotal. But we haven't stopped there. You can't stop there. We then had to go into and have a look at what the common insights, the common themes were in everything that she was angry about with these people and dogs, not just socks. So from that, we then turned the mirror around. Now, if you don't know the concept of the mirror or the shadow, then if you're interested in the mirror, have a look at Byron Katie. She's an amazing author and she does some really good stuff on it. If you're looking at the shadow work, have a look at, well, firstly start with Carl Jung, but also another more modern day person is Debbie Ford, a good author to have a look at. So we had to then ask and go, right, put the mirror up. What in these people am I seeing in myself? And she had to go through it, and one of the things was control. And so she's seen so much control happening by these young people. But it's not just these young people, it's the young people's reaction to the parents or their guardians or the older people in their life. Now, I say older people in their life. I did not say adults, and I didn't say elders, because an adult should be mature emotionally, and an elder is by virtue of a position gifted by the tribe. You don't just become an elder. And I think we've lost elders in society. Tangent. Apologise. Get back on topic. So Abs has this can see so clearly. She's blessed with this incredible emotional literacy and emotional, intimacy, and she can see so much from those around her. But this is reflected. It's not just, you can say, well, it's just your daughter, James. Well, cool. I'm blessed with an amazing family, but that takes cultivation and it takes being active myself. I just came out of the bush with a bunch of 16 to 18-year-olds, and one amazing young man asked me this loaded question, massively loaded question, and it all came down to judgment. Why? Because at rugby training, his old man stands on the sidelines and critiques him to the nth degree, and not only critiques him but belittles him. And that young man, who was he's stellar, like he's a heart of gold, and he put in, and I pushed those young guys. I pushed them really, really hard over 24 hours. I got them up at 4 a.m. and I made them run 12 kilometres just finding stuff in the middle of the bush, put stretchers on their backs. I did everything, pushed them really, really hard. And this guy stepped up. He's got huge heart, but what he's got is this incredible self-judgment. Why? Because he's worried about his father's reaction. I say reaction, because his father is reacting to the moment. He's helicoptering him and he's pushing. He's living vicariously through his child. What is the etymology or the genesis of the word vicarious? It comes from the word vicar. What does vicar mean? Intermediary. Yes, when we used to need someone between us and God, the vicar was the person that could get us to God, instead of realising we connect to our divine ourself. So when a parent lives vicariously through their children, they will project their own inadequacies onto their children, and our children are stepping up and saying, stop. Now, I've witnessed Indigenous children from this nation turn around to their elders and say, teach me your first tongue, teach me my dreaming, keep your shame and your guilt to yourself. Now, that's powerful. That's like one of the most powerful and courageous things I've ever heard. There's an incredible scene in the movie by Marvel called The Black Panther, where, I'm not even going to try and say it, but the Black Panther goes back to his, I always get his name wrong, but he goes back to his ancestors, and his ancestors say, come, die, and come back to us. And he says, no, I'm going back to Earth, and I'm going to fix the issues that you've created. And in essence, what he's doing is he's healing his bloodline. He's healing his genealogy. He's standing up for his tribe. He's standing up for his people, and he's going back and he's fixing it. He's not allowing the projection of his elders to be dumped onto him. He's going, who am I? Who truly am I? And what is my mission on this planet? And that young man who asked me the judgment question, that loaded question was, how do I live a fruitful life? How do I be the best person I possibly can, at the same time, be able to navigate the grenades being thrown at me by supposedly the people who love me? So the message from our young people, be that from my daughter or through all these young people that I'm witnessing at the moment, is stop throwing hand grenades at them. And what is a hand grenade? It's your own personal projection. Own your shit. Own your projection. Stop giving that to our children. Give them the opportunity to spread their wings. And yes, they will crash in. Yes, they need to crash in. They need to plough in hard, and they need to have gravel rash on their face. And they need us to then stand next to them and say, do you want a hand up? Do you want a hug? And give them compassionate love. And that's called tough love. It's actually technically called compassionate empathy. But we need to give them that compassionate empathy. In the first place, hold space for them to plough in hard. Like, I had to hold space with tears right behind my eyes, seeing the pain of my daughter and what she was experiencing. I had to hold back. I had to say, if you want to heal, you need to go through that door. And yes, that door sucks. I've been there. But I've owned my shit, and I've gone through that door personally. If you want to get rid of this stuff which is going on inside you, you need to own your anger. You need to express it appropriately where no one is hurt, undermined, or demeaned in any way. And you need to own how this anger has been generated inside you. And you need to heal that wound. But at the same time, I'm not going to throw my crap onto you. And that's what our young children are asking for. They're asking us to hold space. They're asking us for our knowledge, not our projections. And most importantly, they're asking us for our love. If we get that, we can't go wrong. We simply can't go wrong. And our youth are the ones that are calling for this and leading the way. And God bloody bless them for it. Trust you got something from it. Much love.